it's somewhat inevitable. I think that's something that Kurt has always strived for, is that he would like it to be conflict-free, or at least have conflicts that are positive. But I think we have systems in place to at least work through it with things, with this covey as a foundation, with this colors to understand each other better. But it's still tricky. I mean, there's times where we've had a few things that are sensitive, and yeah, it's never easy. But I would say for the most part, fairly drama-free. I mean, that's always our goal, is to be drama-free. And sometimes, unfortunately, it's a person that probably shouldn't be in our culture. And probably the challenge there is we're very humane in that process, and it probably takes us too long to really recognize that and help transition them to something else. It's an awkward, positive environment, and some people bring so much to this. And it's frustrating when we do have it. And again, we want to do it. We want to transition the right way instead of just, because you don't know. I mean, sometimes people come around too. It's just a stage in their life, or events that are going on outside the store that are creating maybe a short-term stress.
I think we try to be careful that we don't act on emotion when conflict comes up, which is difficult because that's what conflict is, right? But trying to get a hold of our emotions before we can sit down and resolve it, and then trying to understand maybe what the problem is, what did it stem from, and what's the solution maybe to get to a better outcome. And as Brian said, we probably are a little slow in addressing problems, maybe because of that reason, is trying to understand it and what's the best way to address this and how do we get the best solution for it. I think we probably get better at that. But I think when conflict arises, and I'll tell you, I need to get better at it, is to maybe get through that process a little quicker and address it sooner. Because conflict, when it kind of settles, it grows. So what can you do to maybe get to the root of the problem and come up with a better solution? And as Brian said, sometimes the solution is a simple change and maybe understanding what the person's going through, or it's a system change, and other times it's maybe just not the right fit. But addressing it and moving in a positive direction. It's easier said than done, but not easy. Always a challenge, right?
Yeah. So another form of conflict you might run into is promoting inclusion with respect to diversity and equity and generational gaps. I think you talked about that earlier with the millennials and other groups. So how do you see the dynamics of those types of conflicts working?
That's kind of neat too. I mean, the group that we've had the most success with probably in the last 10 years are retirees, people that are retiring early that want to be part of something positive, and they're looking for 10 to 20 hours a week. And having that more mature person in the building can almost serve as another father to people in the building, as a really good role model. And so that's given us some nice diversity in terms of our staff, because at one point most of our staff, we're all in their 20s and 30s as we grew up in the organization, and Kurt was the old guy at the time who was in his 40s, and now, like at our staff meeting this morning, we have a Wednesday staff meeting, you look around and most everybody is 30 plus. And some of the students can't make the weekly staff meeting. But and we're fortunate. I mean, we've had a nice mixture of staff, and we'll have people that are high school students and the coach. We can see him over there. The gentleman where he tucked off, but up in this clearance area, we call it Coach's Closet. It was originally downstairs, the clearance area, and he's pushing 80 years old. I think he was born in 1928, so he'll be 78 this year. And he just brings something, and he's got the energy of a teenager. He brings a lot to the organization. That diversity is super important, I think. And that's who our customers are too. Our customers are very diverse, so we have to have, I think, a diverse staff as well to connect with the different customers. And sometimes in a smaller environment, it might be harder to have that. Fortunately, we've got the scale. Like Tom mentioned, almost 100 employees. There's a structure we just don't.
And maybe some conflicts arise when you have 18 to 78-year-olds in terms of maybe the way they see, their job, or maybe the way they see timeliness to the job, and that type of thing where it's like, yeah, I'm pretty close to being on time, and somebody else is like, no, this is what you gotta do. But that's also personality type. So I think a lot of that has to do with just better understanding. I think anytime there's conflict, it's better understanding the individual and what it is, and then setting expectations and holding people consistently accountable for it.
All right, home stretch here. I think just two more questions.
Yeah.
How do you foster a work environment that maximizes creative potential, both for yourselves and for your staff?
That's a good question because we're trying to do more of that, and this younger generation has these ideas and they want to do things differently, and they know. The Google Documents and some of these tools that are out there, they're literally using these tools in some cases elementary school now. Those of us that have been in school for a long time, and some of our staff are more reluctant than others, but it is something. Unfortunately, I think our environment is one that wants to encourage questioning things and doing things differently, but in a positive manner. So I think you have to. You got to keep looking at everybody in the organization, in particular, the people that are in the trenches day in and day out. They're seeing things and hearing things. I mean, that's the one thing we do get a chance to spend more time on the sales force. Like, we're making all these notes. Like, are we doing this way? Are we really? Is anybody really paying attention to this? But yeah, it's critical. I think, in particular, if you want to continue to evolve this business and grow, and that's one thing that we feel it's important. We don't want to just maintain, and we don't want to manage the cost to make the business healthy. We want to grow it up here so that we are a business moving forward.
Part of our mission statement is innovation, constant improvement, and Anna hears that a lot. We love when we get 175 new people that aren't here every day. And a lot of times they have great ideas. They're like, why is it this way? And we've just walked by it 1,000 times and hidden about twice about it. So we always encourage this innovation, but how do you encourage it and kind of go down the road? Sometimes, well, innovation is, let's put a retractable roof in. Well, that's probably not going to happen. Well, you asked me to come up with ideas, so here's my ideas. So having a balance in between getting ideas and thinking through like what they are and giving some consideration to them, because I would say if you get 10 ideas, there's maybe one that we actually implement. And you want to try to encourage them to keep those ideas coming and don't get frustrated by it. And, well, why didn't you use my idea? Because we've tried it multiple ways, multiple times, and it hasn't worked, and maybe we just need to think a different way. So you want to encourage them, but you also need to guide it too. It's tough. It's a tough thing to ask for it, and you just can't ask for it and then have them sit in the box, because then people will just stop putting them in if you don't see changes. So.
They still haven't put my disco ball in the van that goes back and forth.
We have done that before, and we've done a Diva night that we've added a disco ball. So it's actually still down in the office.
So I'm pretty cool with that.
I like it. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Well, it's the last one, I guess. How do you seek input to guide your direction and make sure that your staff, customer, vendors, community are satisfied? So how do you accept input to make sure that everybody is satisfied?
Yeah, I think we're pretty good. We're pretty accessible. I think that part helps. That people will walk up all day long. There's really no walls or barriers in the building. If somebody has something in their mind, we listen. So.
From customers, we have customer comment cards that we get feedback on as well. We also have a spot that have staff hear feedback from customers that we're writing that down, so we try to be consistent with that piece of it.
We'll have a seat right here.
Our evaluations that are twice a year, we will ask our staff, one of the last questions is, what can we do to make your experience more enjoyable and productive at Playmakers? Which enjoyable and productive, a balance between the two is part of our mission statement, so we want to hear from them. Like, what is your experience like? What can we do to make it better? And then I think we consistently ask our vendors how things are going, and we want to be their favorite stop, and what can we do to make that better. So I think we seek it out, and it is really important that you just don't have your head in the sand just thinking you're doing great things where feedback all around you is saying otherwise. Feedback, positive, is great, but when they show you areas that you can improve, it's even better.
have any last questions for us, or do we have any last questions for these guys?
I was thinking of one. I don't want to take too much time, but on the teamwork subject, and maybe I just missed part of this, but you know, we're working as a team trying to figure out like how we make decisions. You know, who do we interview in all of Michigan and all these things, and we've learned some real tangible tools to be able to do that. When you are working with your staff, or maybe as a team of 3, how do you guys make some decisions? Is it sort of consensus, or do you try to ever do, you know, maybe a vote with your staff, or just to try to get a decision at the end of the day?
You know, it's tricky because if you try to do everything by committee, you get some funny decisions sometimes, right?
Yeah.
And even between the 3 of us, I think sometimes we want to consult, but in every area is different. Like I tell our buyers, it's like you have 51% of the vote. You know, go out and solicit feedback from as many people as possible. But at the end of the day, you're the one that's picking the colors, the sizes, and probably not unlike putting a paper in front of someone before you turn it in. You want to encourage them to do that, right? Because it's going to be a better product. But, yeah, it's still tricky, and sometimes we're slow. There's some things that we get bogged down on decision making, and it can be more of a process. And sometimes the right solution comes with just patience and continuing to solicit feedback.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think the feedback's really important. Part of the consistent question, if somebody says, hey, I have a great idea, how many people did you run it by? 0 doesn't hold as much weight as I ran it by 10 people, and I do think we got this thing down a little bit more. But you're right, at some point somebody's got to make a call and have a responsibility for it. I think between the 3 of us, because there's 3, a 2-to-1 vote, things would get done. I'm sure we've done that at some point, but I don't think that we really do that. I think if we find that we're not all together, we're going to continue to talk it out. That we know the 3 of us are together on something, and maybe it's just a tweak to what the original plan is, that somebody comes back and says, yeah, I feel more comfortable with it. But I think we rarely go to this 2-to-1 vote thing. I don't think we've ever done it.
It's funny though, if you look back at Kurt, if he had a bee in his bonnet about something and you weren't aligned, he would just go down the road. What do you think about this? He would just go by and agree with him. And you know, are you going to disagree with the founder and the owner of the company?
Les thinks it's a good idea, we're going to go ahead and do